What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, or wherever you are, and whatever time it is. So welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersiaholic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another online battle for the divided to Impera overhaul mod for Total War Rome 2. Today we have Carthage, played by your man Toxborg, who was kind enough to send me a replay file here. So be sure to go check out his channel. Link will be in the description as always. And this is going to be a really cool battle because my man Toxborg loves to do tactical battle videos. Basically where he chooses an army, a faction, and composition tailored to dealing with a specific strategy. Now, at the time of recording this replay, I don't know what kind of strategy he's going to be running here. So I'm just going to watch the replay normally, try to commentate over it, and try to predict exactly what it is he is trying to do. But you can see here, he has a very interesting and unique composition. But we have Toxborg over here. Like I said, link to his channel in description below. Toxborg's playing as Carthage, and then over here we have the Lusitani. The Lusitani played by the very good DEI player God. You guys will remember him from many of my other replays. He is a very good player, so this is going to be very challenging for both players. And the factions themselves will be also interesting because we have the Lusitani fighting Carthage. So this is a little bit of a historical matchup for the Iberians fighting for Iberian independence, I guess. But anyway, that's enough chit chat. Let's get into the army composition of both armies, and then we'll get into the battle. So let's start with Carthage. So like I said, Carthage has a very unique position with the army. So let's go from left to right and talk about each of these little battle groups and see what he has. So we have Libyan Therio spears. We have 1 unit, 2 units of those. Behind them we have a single Libyan peltis, and then we also have Carthaginian citizen cav. Going to the right, we then have Libyan Therios infantry, which are swordsmen. We have some Libyan Phoenician thorax swordsmen, and then we have some Libyan archers as well. And then behind them, of course, we have African elephants, and I believe these guys are the low tier elephants that Carthage gets access to, the very cheapest ones. Still doesn't mean that they're bad though, they're very, very good. Just in terms of elephant quality, they're not the best. But that's another topic for another video. Moving forward towards the center, we have Carthaginian Sacred Band right here. Then we have another unit, very elite, cool right here. Behind them we have 1 unit of Libyan archers, and then the general, which is a Carthaginian citizen cav of the late variety, so they have very good armor at 41, very good shock cav unit, but definitely not a melee cav unit, as they only have a melee defense of 5. So Toxborg has to be careful with his general, make sure he doesn't get stuck in combat. Continuing down to the right, it looks like we have a mirrored right flanks, but let's just double check. Libyan Phoenician thorax swords, Therios swordsmen, more archers, more elephants, and then Therios spearmen, Therios spears, Peltis, and then citizen cav over here. So Carthage is coming very heavy on the elephants with 2 units of elephants. They're going to have to get a lot of kills to be worth that much money and investment into a single army. And Carthage is actually really lacking in cavalry. And what cav he does have, they're actually shock cavalry. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but the way you tell if this unit is a shock cav unit or a melee cav unit is the melee attack and defense stats. The attack is pretty high at 11, that's very good, but the defense is all the way at 4. And so stats like that usually mean that that unit is a shock cav unit. So Toxborg really needs to make sure that his cavalry does not get stuck in an extended period of melee engagements. Now this is only a 9-minute battle, so let's start the battle right now, and then I'll have to pause it in a moment once we can see more of the Lusitani units, but I will try to list off what I can see right now. On the right hand flank we have 1 Lusitani light cav and another one, so very fast moving skirmisher focused right hand flank over here. We have some Lusitani veteran warriors, which are spearmen, pretty decent armor 20, so pretty solid, and they have 300 men in their unit. Oh, here we go, we're seeing more men coming out of the woodwork. Alright, let's slow this down to a slow speed. The cavalry taking off. Woo, off they go. But anyway, army composition. Lusitani veteran warriors, another one, and another one. Very good front line. 4 units of very good spearmen that have 300 men each. Very smart to have that as his front line. He might want to extend that to just the flanks, depending on how Toxborg handles his elephants. But behind the veteran warriors, we have Lusitani's shock infantry, the elite shock infantry. Very good shock infantry unit, but it has almost no armor piercing damage, and only 4. So that is interesting. He won't want to use these on heavily armored units such as the Sacred Band in the middle. He'll want to use it on different units instead. He has a 3rd shock infantry unit, but then we go to Axemen, 1 unit of Northern Axemen, another one, and then another one, so 3 and 3. Now on the far left hand flank he has melee cavalry. This is not good for Toxborg. It's a perfect counter to shock cavalry. We have 1 unit of Lusitani heavy cav, and then another unit right here. And then in the rear we have the general, which is another Lusitani heavy cav. So let's press play and see what happens here. God not messing around whatsoever, bringing up his skirmisher cav already, trying to get in the face of Toxborg. Toxborg is moving forward. You can see here all of these yellow outlines are his commands, moving up his army in different battle groups. Looks like he's intentionally trying to spread out his line, get a few different battles happening all at once perhaps. Looks like he's going to form up a defensive position here, try and keep those shock cav away. I mean the skirmisher cav away of the Lusitani player. He is moving forward. Really needs to be careful he doesn't move forward too far though. Look at this. Uh-oh. That is not good. You want to stop like around here when the enemy is coming towards you. Let's see if he adjusts his position. He's making a major change right now though. Moving one of his entire battle groups all the way over to the right hand side. In the meantime, he's really committing to the center right here. His elephants are kind of out of position, as are the skirmishers and whatnot. Uh-oh. This is not ideal for Toxborg. Looks like he kind of had to move his whole army at once and had some units get out of position. So the Lusitani warriors will get the first salvo with his javelins. Carthaginians do get to throw their javelins though, so they will get some damage done for maintaining contact. God not really getting anything done with his skirmisher cav though. Perhaps trying to hold them back. Wait until the elephants get involved and then try to snipe them with him. Spearmen over here holding. The Paltus are getting taken out of position. And let me just pause right here really quick. You can see this single Paltus unit has an attack order. Originally it had an attack order on one of these units back here. Now it's just changed to this unit. But that's the reason that it's moved out of position over here and isn't like say staying back here is I'm assuming Toxborg doesn't have the toggle guard mode turned on. That's really, really vital that you turn that on at the beginning of every single battle for units that you don't want to micromanage heavily. And this javelin unit is, it's not being wasted necessarily, but it is out of position in a very dangerous position that is as well. The Lusitani player could really punish Toxborg for that. We're also seeing some Lusitani skirmishers come in with the ambushers, which are javelin units that have 200 men per unit, so that's a bit more than normal. Plus, they also have the stalk ability, so we're probably going to see a bunch of javelin men come out of nowhere right here shortly from the Lusitani player, God. Seeing an engagement over here in the center, but it's not really the whole front line, it's just a couple units fighting. 2-on-1 against the Lusitani swordsman. A lot of skirmisher fire pouring in now. Toxborg focusing on his archers, trying to do some work. God just flanking around with his cavalry. This is where I would love to see Toxborg unite all of his cav in like one little group and then come out and chase down these skirmisher cav, because otherwise, look at this. 3 units of the of Toxborg have to stay off here over on the flank just to keep these units from rear charging. And they can still keep going around, so these 2 units of cavalry are basically tying down 3 units of Carthaginian infantry that should otherwise be busy. But anyway, we're seeing the elephants come in now pretty early on in the battle. Don't get a great charge, but it's still a charge. Oh, needs to watch out for that friendly fire though. That will affect the elephants. 1 unit there going in. Looks like we're charging forward as well in the center. Very risky because we know that there's at least 1 ambusher unit over there. Infantry javelin unit. Very, very risky, but he is rear charging into these Lusitani men. Very good charge right here. Perfect. Very, very nice. But all of these units might still have their javelins, and in fact it looks like it because they're all rushing forward. I mean, it's a nice rear charge. He's going to knock out one unit, maybe two. But the rear charge of the cavalry into the elephants is going to deal some serious damage as well. Toxburg might lose his elephants without getting his bang for his buck. Left-hand flank is looking okay though, but again, that friendly fire is happening. Those elephants are taking shots from his own archers. Just a little bit of a slight change in trajectory, like instead of firing his archers over here, have them fire over here or on the right. Oh no, because we have elephants there too, but there will be a mistake he'll probably have to pay for. 2 more ambusher units are coming out the woodwork over here. They need to be focused on elephants, so they need to come back around and help out the Lusitani main battle line. Carthage has some units kind of just chilling out here on their own, trying to protect their rear. But that's the thing about skirmisher cav. The skirmisher cav can still come in and cause harassment issues, so because Toxburg didn't unite his troops and chase down these skirmisher cav, he's going to have to watch them for a very long time. Lusitani rear charge coming in against the Carthaginian Thurio spears. Very good shot. Possibly more friendly fire coming in towards the elephants. Got to be real careful of that. These elephants are getting bogged down though. These units, they should have charged in and then been pulled back out. At least in any direction they could have, but he's about to lose one elephant here. And the other one, they're both wavering. Both taking a combination of rear charges, friendly fire, and they're just bogged down it by spearmen. 2 units of spearmen and a single cav unit, that will kill that elephant. Yeah, there it goes. It's routed, it's shattered, it's done. Solar damage, it's getting done. We have some Carthaginian cav over here. Getting tied down though, they need to be rear charging at the very least. Looks like the Carthaginian right has collapsed almost. And we're trying to have a little line form up here, but the Lusitani cavalry is still moving in pretty fast, getting a bunch of rear charges. Looks like the Carthaginian general is about to go. That's not good. He's just lost his elephants as well. That's a shame. If he didn't lose his general, all that elephant unit, he definitely could have brought this back. The unit balance is pretty much even. Both sides still have a lot of men left on the battlefield, but Toxburg has just lost his big advantage, his elephants. Combining that with the general, I don't see Toxburg bringing this back. He still has some skirmishers though. Looks like he's targeting the cavalry. Yeah, very good target. Nice micromanagement of his archers. But he needs to make sure they don't get out of position like this unit right here. Gotta be careful. There's a bunch of Lusitani swordsmen and spearmen up in that mix. So he does have to be careful. Oh, look at this little sly micromanagement sliding on in. Not sure what he's trying to accomplish with that, though. I mean, he's obviously trying to rear charge, but which unit is he rear charging? Ah, right here. Comes in for the rear charge into these elite shock infantry. Not a bad rear charge. Get a flaming shot with his arrows, and that unit would have routed. But the archers are getting pummeled. The Lusitani skirmisher cav have come in to deal them massive damage. They've charged into 2 units of Carthaginian skirmishers right here. That's absolutely deadly. And they're basically being allowed to roam free because of that. They weren't hunted down by cavalry. I mean, he's focusing fire with some archers, so he will get some kills, but I don't know, man. They just knocked out 2 skirmisher units for free almost. So very much in favor of GOD still. Still has some cavalry though. Has a cav unit here. The general's alive. I would love to see Toxburg try and target the Lusitani general here. But wow, look at all this cav that the Lusitani player still has. 2 units, and the general. And the general's rear charging. He's getting involved. And at this point, it's looking pretty much like a GG for GOD. Look at this. Beautiful charge about to come in. Probably going to break off in one of these directions with one of the units. In fact, he should, because look, that cav unit should route. Not the most efficient charge, using 2 units on the 1 skirmisher, but that's okay. Still get the job done. Springing around more cavalry. Man, this is where it's just done. I don't think Toxburg can bring this back. Looks like we're getting routes across the entire front. Yeah, the Carthaginian player is done. He came in with a really cool, unique army composition, but online battles, it's so hard to keep groups of units separated. And here, all of his groups basically had to form into a line, and then just a few little mistakes like the elephants getting caught out and not getting their usage done. And Carthage is defeated. The Lusitani end up fighting and winning their independence. So let's go to the statistics screen very quickly and just talk about the verdict of the battle. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, what an interesting battle that was. We had a bunch of different unique ideas coming in from both sides. God, the Lusitani player, focusing very much on having a lot of very good infantry, and he also had some decent cavalry that actually turned out to be extremely cost effective. All of his cav units got over 100 kills. One had 325 kills, and that's just a shock. I mean, a skirmisher unit? That's insane. Although I'm sure a good chunk of those kills would have been on a routing unit, but still, very, very effective use of cavalry on God's part. He brought in some bear warriors as well, 1, 2, and 3, all of which did pretty good. 250 kills is what I would expect. These other two units that didn't get those kills, they're still fine though, because they didn't lose hardly any men, so that's fine. The rest of God's army looks pretty solid. Most of them did okay statistically. However, a few of the champion units and the axeman units didn't really get the cut that they should have. 10 kills, 37, 13, that's nowhere near good enough. The ambusher units, he had 2 javelin men right here, 55 kills and 89. The killers are okay, but what I would have liked to have seen more so is him adjusting these units' positions to try and target the elephants, because there was an elephant on his right flank and in the center. And so they perhaps could have been moved to a better position where they could have really taken out those elephants quickly. In saying that though, the elephants still got taken out pretty quickly. So perhaps it wasn't needed, but either way, God did very good with his army. He did get some units that got thrashed, but he was going up against Carthage, and Carthage is definitely not a faction to take lightly. And looking at the Carthaginian statistics, we can see one of the biggest downfalls was the skirmishers. They just didn't get the kills. 39 kills was the highest of any of his skirmisher units. That's just not good enough. He has 2 Peltas units and 3 archers. These archers, he probably could have reduced these archers to just like 1 archer unit, having these flaming shot to try and help your elephants or your cavalry with their rear charges and rout some Lusitani units. Of course, you have to be careful of the friendly fire on your elephants, but if you do it right, it can be very, very deadly. The elephants actually did okay with their kills, getting well over 200. However, you have to look at the health bars. This unit of elephants is almost at full strength, and this unit is just under half. And they routed off the battlefield. That is just not really acceptable. They need to get double those kills, or at the very least, they should have been dead before they're routed. And unfortunately, because it is a low tier elephant, it isn't going to be that hard to rout off the battlefield. And they took a fair bit of friendly fire as well, so that doesn't help out. Yeah, just the elephants, they needed double the kills basically, and Toxbo could have done a lot better. His cavalry did really nice, very good use of his cav, 212 kills, 128, very respectable for those units. His general got 1 kill. I'm not sure what happened with the general. I could have swore I saw him doing a bunch of rear charges with it, but perhaps not. We'll just have to assume that that statistic is correct, but the rest of his infantry did okay. These spearmen are pretty low tier Thurio spears, so they're not really going to do all that well in a main kind of frontline position against a faction like the Lusitani that specializes in having very good swordsmen and shock units. So it's understandable they kind of got thrashed. The 2 sacred band units though, they didn't get anywhere near the kills that they should have for the cost. I wouldn't have even bothered bringing those guys instead. More Florax swordsmen might have been better. But, you know, that's just if you're going for an ultra competitive army, which I'm sure many online battles are not focused on that, but it's just a suggestion. Instead of sacred band units and are very slow and hard to get kills with, would have focused on something a little bit more flexible. Because you could see his Florax swords did very good. 152 kills at 109. That's really nice, especially going up against the Lusitani. These Furious swordsmen did okay. One only got 30 kills, but the other got 153. That's the kind of numbers you want for a unit that gets wiped out. So pretty solid there. But yeah, main thing Toxbo just didn't get to do was use these elephants as good as he could have. Elephants and skirmishers were the major downfall for him, but besides that, the rest of his army was interesting. It was a unique kind of position. This battle was certainly up in the air for a while there, but then as soon as he lost those elephants and the general, straight after that, man, there's just no way that he can recover that battle. That he just doesn't have anything that can kill so many Lusitani units, especially not like elephants. Elephants regularly get 500 plus kills in battles, even in online battles, so just needed a bit more out of that. And he could have swung it back his way. But anyway, thank you so much to my man Talkspoke for sending in this replay. Very kind of him. I appreciate it. Very nice, fun battle. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it for now. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.